clear to the DP that he was on his own. What's alleged? According to sources privy to discussions, President Ruto said his deputy had actually estranged most MPs with his abrasiveness. He also accused Gachagua of fighting government policies and not publicizing projects being implemented in Mount Kenya. But even more grave, the president is reported to have alluded to a scheme by his deputy that was the source of their irreconcilable differences. That is on the Daily Nation. The Standard newspaper, DP's fight back inside Karen Nerve Center after shock impeachment by MPs and an impending Senate trial. Rigathi Gachagua has hunkered down in his current residence with the best political, legal, and communication minds to fine-tune his arsenal that involves an aggressive defense and offensive in parliament, courts, and the political arena. On the Star newspaper, Mount Kenya MPs ditched Gachagua at key hour. 40 lawmakers voted for his impeachment, with only 19 voting against the motion. That is as far as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's matter is concerned. We'll be touching on it later on. Back on the People Daily. And page 3, how Mazingira Day was celebrated. Honorable James Gakuya. On 10th, that is yesterday, being October. It used to be Moi Day. You know, several names have since changed. Huduma Day, and right now we have Mazingira Day. What do you make of this day? Did you also participate in planting of trees?
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, and allow me to salute viewers from wherever they are watching us from. And coming to Mazingira. Yes, Mazingira is a holiday which was once Moi Day and converted to Mazingira today. But all I can say is that it wasn't felt. It was a holiday, but it was very rarely felt. It also came when Kenyans were in anguish of the ongoing issues, and therefore there was no major celebration of this particular holiday. Personally, let me say I participated because a day is a day, and when the day comes, you should not allow it to exit without doing something. So personally, I did, within my area, I did a plantation of a few number of trees, just to make sure that the day will not exit unattended to. But watching on the events that were nationally, it was not a very, very active day.
Should the Ministry of Environment have perhaps planned this better?
They have to plan this better, and also to make clear arrangements on how to sensitize people and prepare seedlings every corner, so that actually people can be busy planting. But it was not well planned. I can say that. Even within my region, I couldn't be able to see in my public schools any arrangement of this kind of event. So it was not well arranged.
Also, Peter Mushendo, political analyst, thank you so much once again for catching time. Mazingira Day, that transformed from Moi Day, Huduma Day, Utamaduni Day. It's now Mazingira Day. Did you feel that it achieved its purpose, especially being on 10th of October?
Well, I think that the biggest problem is that we anchored the whole Mazingira initiative around politicians. And currently, the mood in the House is about the impeachment motion. And therefore, not so many politicians give it a thought. And I would want to say that what we must do is that we need to anchor this process of conserving our environment from as early age as the age of my daughter, who is 7, at school, so that they can be able to do it. But I'm happy back at my home near my village, there is an organization called Friends of Odire, led by a guy called Wakoge, and they had a very good tree planting session, and I really felt it. But I think I would challenge the Ministry of Environment to move the planning of conserving our environment from the political arena and make it, anchor it in schools, anchor it in our communities, so that whether politicians are actively involved in it or not, it is still going to go ahead, because I would have expected, being a Mazingira Day and our call to plant 1 billion trees, we would have seen leaders participate in that process. But unfortunately, that is what you get when the political arena becomes the read in Mazingira. I mean, it is based on their moods. It is based on their, you know, on what is interesting them at that particular period. So you never saw any photos of any politician like you always do when we are planting. And therefore, I think the Ministry of Environment needs to anchor this at a primary school level. Let us make it a discipline. And I keep saying, you must not just plant, you must also grow that tree, because the ultimate result is that tree becomes part of our conservation and part of our environment.
Well, yes, Joe. I think Mushendo has a fact that time has come to distinguish where to anchor this kind of particular day. As much as it is a very important day to the public of Kenya, I think better strategy should be made and make it so public other than politicizing it, where you keep aligning members of parliament, ministers to go around all over, where the ministry can be able to put a budget for seedlings and also sensitize members of the public, have those CBOs and PBOs to take action during this particular day. So I think it requires better strategy and better involvement to the community directly.
Also on the People Daily on the cover page, CS, that is the Health Cabinet Secretary, Deborah Baraza, 3.7 million workers suffer mental illness. On page 2 of the People Daily, where at least 3.7 million of labor force have mental illness. Approximately, that is 3.7 million people in the Kenyan workforce are potentially living with mental illness, and this has led to huge economic losses. A 2020 survey shows that Kenya actually loses up to 0.6% of the GDP, accounting to 62.2 billion annually due to mental health challenges. A lot of the losses are mainly linked to absenteeism from the workplace. This has prompted the Ministry of Health to call on employers to prioritize mental health in the workplace, subsequently leading to calls by the Ministry of Health to employers to implement mental wellness programs that address the overall mental well-being of their employees. Honorable Gakuya, on this one, 3.7 million of the total workforce that is in the country has mental issues, and this actually is leading to the country losing 62.2 billion Kenya shillings. Are we having, you know, the right approach towards ensuring that especially employees in various, be it in the private sector or public sector, are in their stable mental condition?
Joe, it's a very worrying situation, considering that this huge number of mental illness is within our public, and especially we have seen various number of organizations where you realize that in the police force there has been issues of shootouts, where officers had been shooting their lovers or shooting their colleagues imminently. And these, I would think that in fact, one, you would say that, I don't know what should be done, but issues to do with mental illness it has taken a big chunk, and out of these results, probably the country is engaging on a very bad situations where actions sometimes are beyond control, and you realize that in fact before you realize somebody has that mental issue already, he has shot himself, or else he has chopped himself, or he has already done a very unexpected situation. Deaths have been so high, and if you can be able to watch marriages, how they are going, you realize that currently we have a lot of issues of disconnect within the families, where you realize even women are turning against their husbands and killing them. And also the husbands are on high gear that they are turning to their loved ones and killing them without having the second thought. So it's a situation that in fact need to be handled very carefully, taking consideration that if the country have this big number of magnitude illness, because it is a serious occasion where you are dealing with the people in offices, and these people you are not sure whether they are okay or they are not. And I think time has come that we must also take concern, and especially in family, when you start realizing that somebody is changing the character a bit, on that early stage, action should be taken. Take this student or anybody who is a family member to the nearest hospital, just to understand whether something is cropping up. But if it is going to be left that way, it tells you that in fact it is too dangerous, and you may be having people thinking that these people are fit enough, are good enough, but they are not. Distress issues have been also an issue that has brought serious, and I would say economic situations has also played a big part, where you realize after issues like COVID and everything that people has gone poor, and after the situations and poverty within, and people trying to crabble to survive, those distresses are too high, and sometimes it crops to give people that kind of illness, that mental illness.
There are calls to make this particular, mental health issue a national disaster.
As it is, the government should assess, and the time has come. If the numbers are like they have been highlighted, I think something should be done. Something
Peter,
should be done at this particular moment.
Peter, at first, when you saw the splash on the People Daily,
yes,
you are worried that this, if only it's in the public sector, then we are doing so badly. But interestingly, it appears to cut across the private sector and the public sector. What do you make of the numbers, 3.7 million?
I think one of the biggest worries that should worry any country, it is that level of mental issues in the country, because the economy and everything about this country, business and all those, are being driven by people. And those who are entitled or those who are entrusted to do that must be people of sound mind. And therefore this should worry you. I wish you would have an opportunity to peruse the World Health Organization report of 2017 that had placed Kenya at the 5th ranked country with the most depression cases. Then they were saying that over 2 million Kenyans are depressed. Some are suffering from anxiety and everything. And I think for me, I agree with Mheshimiwa that one of the places we need to invest, it is the wellness of your mind, Chacha, because without your mind being composed and working well, you will not be standing here. And I say this, there is a stigma in our villages and in our communities that if they hear I am seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist, the first thing that comes to mind of people, uyo ni wazimu. You understand? Yeah. And we must deal with that stigma. Every given time now and then, as Moshendo, I go and I see an expert. I just want to sit there for a session and talk. Not because I think I am mad, but because I think I deserve to take care of my mental health. And that is one of the things the government must invest, because the biggest cases you hear of people killing each other, as Mohesh has put, it is people who are working for public service. It is people who are employed in government entities and government agencies. Have we factored in the parastatal budgets, in ministerial budgets, in departmental budgets? Have we factored enough resources to ensure that we take care of the wellness of the people's mind? Because you can imagine when you hear a police officer has shot the wife and kids and what, these are people we have entrusted with weapons. Have we taken care of their mind? Today, Chacha, if you want to own a gun, you are taken through a test to see whether you are of sound mind. Why don't we do that periodic exercise with the people in the discipline force, ensure their mind is
so similar to what we do
for
those who want to acquire private arms.
Yes, because if we do not deal with the mental issues in this country, it is not going to be good. There is a certain market somewhere in Kiambu I will not mention. It is, of course, very famous because of it has so many people with so many mental disorder. And if we do not watch, that is going to be next. Chacha, it does not mean today if you leave this studio and go and talk to an expert that you are mad or you have a mental problem. But it means you are able to ensure that your mind does not get to a level of being depressed. And I think for me, we have internalized culture. In our culture, Mheshimiwa Kuya will tell you, we are told men don't cry. Men should not share when they have problems. And therefore, people are boxing in problems. And the moment they explode, they either kill themselves or they kill those they love. And we must, in that doctrination of culture that, especially men, because most of the people who are now affected are male, we must talk about it. Don't be told as a man, as a Kikuyu man or as a whoever man, that you cannot share your problem with someone. You cannot actually unleash what is boxed inside you. And I think culture has also played a very big role, where men are suffering but they cannot talk because their culture does not allow them to express their vulnerability. And I think that is something we must deal with. And I agree with you. At some point, we may want to say this is a national disaster, we need to deal with it.
Well, so basically this is a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Now, just to highlight still on matters health, that is highlighted on the Standard newspaper on the cover page. You are endangering Kenyans' lives, ministry told. A pathologist tells courts that the Ministry of Health is risking lives of patients by procuring less sensitive but expensive HIV testing kits. On page 13 of the Standard newspaper, but is also actually captured on the headlines. That is on the cover page. The Ministry of Health is putting the lives of Kenyans in danger by procuring less sensitive but expensive HIV testing kits. Honorable Gakuya, especially the population in this country, for those who opt to test fast, especially for HIV, and they trust government hospitals or public hospitals to undertake these particular tests, only now that it's emerging that whatever has been purchased, it's expensive, yes, but it's less sensitive. Is the Ministry of Health serious? Surely.
Let me say, Joe, that it is lack of planning which makes people to fail. Ministry of Planning is not new in this particular area of concern, because HIV and AIDS is not a business that actually that occurred yesterday. And going by the global sensitization of this particular stigma, at this particular time, I don't think that in fact there is anything that actually we would start to say that we have not known what is working and what is not working. When you go to buy kits that are costly but less sensitive, then what do you want to tell us? Do you want to tell us that it is the high time that we are trying to test? Because this is a matter that has gone over 20 years. Do you want to tell us that in fact we don't have technical people who are well well fashions on what is supposed to be bought and what is supposed to be procured, what is good and what is bad to the people. It's only that this I can call it Joe, I would just say it's just a joker of the day at this point, because it is not out of knowledge. Because we cannot tell us we have fought with the disease for more than 20 years, and today is when you are telling us you can buy kits that are more costly, but they're sensitive. How can this be? It's a total failure, and I'll tell you, it makes that, in fact, the ministry is not serious. And it is just jokers that anybody who has been in this line at this point in time should be fired, because we don't want to go to that situation. It is time when you should be having the best kits and the best sensitive kits at this particular time. And I think that's the only way you can score your planned measures. Otherwise, if this is the route to take, it tells that we are getting backward, but not going forward. Yes.
Peter,
yes.
This one is shocking, actually, that one would trust a government hospital to do a test, especially the HIV one, only for you to realize that whatever has been done could not even be accurate. That risks, of course, transmission numbers skyrocketing. Are we staring at a serious danger here? And are people keen to make money at the expense of others' health?
I think when it comes to public health, it is, I mean, shocking is even an understatement that people have trusted, because you also look at the index, the poverty index in Kenya, and it will tell you what percentage go to public hospital. It is the biggest percentage that goes to public hospital, and they entrust public hospitals to give them the actual results. And let me tell you, if we do not watch out as a nation, this is a disaster in waiting. You remember those many years I was in high school when the former president, Daniel Troitich, declared HIV a national disaster. And I think we were able to make some milestones as a country in terms of fighting the plague. And then we went somewhere and we became stagnant. And people started treating this thing as just a normal, like any other normal diseases. And I think for me, that particular issue must not be canvassed on newspapers. I want to believe that Mheshimiwa Gakuya and the rest of the members of parliament who represent this republic, especially in the health committee, are going to prosecute this issue, because you realize that one of the things we pride ourselves as a country, it is having a youthful nation. The average age in Kenya is that of a young person. And therefore, when you have an average youth, a youth is a resource in this country, Chacha. But a youth is also an explorer. And with this kind of shocking news, the kind of exploration done by young people will leave us worried, because it is going to bring issues, and the government must look into this. And I'm inviting the Honorable Gakuya and the rest of the members of parliament who are in the Departmental Committee on Health to look into this matter.
Well, we'll do for a commercial break,
yes.
Just to cut you short. But quickly, Honorable Gakuya, even as we are taking a break, you're a member of, you're the chair actually of the Trade Committee in the National Assembly. The Standard newspaper on the cover page on the business segment highlights why KRA is targeting M-Pesa, till and pay bill. Are you in support of this, that KRA will get access to, traders' pay bill and till numbers by December?
Let me say, Joe, that policies are made by the National Assembly, and if the policies has been made, goes only what KRA should not do is to introduce their own policies that have not passed the test of the National Assembly.
So this one needs to go through the National Assembly.
I'm not sure, I have not seen such a policy, and I would say if there is one, then I have not seen it. Well, so I would ask the KRA just to work within the law and work within the already policies in place. Well, they should not insert policies that have not gone test through the National Assembly.
Well, at this juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be focusing on the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment motion that actually will be investigated in the Senate come next week, Wednesday and Thursday, even as the attempts to block him from leaving office in the case, of course, that is ousted or his impeachment motion is upheld by the Senate, and as well blocking or restraining the swearing in of a new deputy president to replace Gachagua. A conversation that you can engage in via social media platforms at K24 TV at Joel Church, as well on SMS and the WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens. I'll be sampling some of your feedback before wrapping up New Dawn. We'll be right back with that conversation. Stay tuned.
Mr. DJ.
Lucky. When it comes to playing the best music videos, we've got you covered. K24 TV Mix Master. When it comes to a lineup of all the fresh DJs, we've got that too. Yeah! Check this out. Caribbean.
Controversy starts from the teacher reader.
Afrobeat. Our famous and infamous Kenyan jam.
By the way, let me tell you mine.
And all the hits from across the globe.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
This is the Beatbox. Monday to Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on K24.
Follow the champions on the home of football. Watch the latest Man City content exclusively. Full match replays, extended highlights, coaches' interviews.
The target is not to win the Premier League, it's just, okay, next game, try to win it, this is what we have to do.
Players' interviews.
In general, the quality has been high and it's been good.
Behind the scenes and more. Every Saturday at 1 p.m. only on K24, the home of football. Your Saturday morning won't be the same again.
Launch sequence activated.
Have a nice trip.
Oh yes!
As K24 TV brings you Akili and me. Ubongo Kids, Next Generation, My World Kitchen, Muddle Earth and MI High on Kids Zone from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter and WhatsApp.